It seems Chinese people have long obsession of land and property. However, in China, like in many other countries, there is no freehold land theoretically. The government has ownership of all lands. When we say buy a house, that means we buy a 70-year use right of the house. Before 1980s, there was no even property market. Residential houses and apartments were not to be traded, but arranged by the government. Say you're going to get married and you need to live in a place, you apply for that to the organization you work, and they will make arrangements based on your requirements and the resources they have. In 1980, the first time in China's history, the residential house was commercialized and to be traded in the market. In 1987, the first land auction took place in Shenzhen. In 1992, the godfather of China's Open Up and Reform, Deng Xiaoping, made a famous speech during his tour in southern China to recap the future of socialism with Chinese characteristics, which actually indicated capitalism within China's existing political system. In the same year, 1992, Evergrande's founder Hui Ka-yen was only 34. He was still working in a state-owned enterprise, while back then 90% of people worked for SOEs, which was probably the only option. Hui quit his first job and went to Shenzhen, the frontier of China's Open Up and Reform. In 2 years, Hui worked for an unknown trade company. When the time came, Hui took 400,000 RMB to Guangzhou alone to try his luck in property development. At that time, Guangdong province was in the cycle of being bolder and being faster. Economic development has brought countless opportunities for urbanization. Hui spent 200,000 making advertisement on Guangzhou Daily, claiming that a big Shenzhen company would like to develop land in Guangzhou. And they were looking for land lease from local government. A fish took bait very soon. A state-owned factory in financial trouble was selling the properties, and that was perfect for Hui. Hui managed 20 million bank loan through the trade company he was still working for, and then he used this 20 million to buy the 200 acres of factory land. Then he borrowed again 200,000 from the bank, using the land as collateral. Now we start to see the preliminary shape of Hui's trick, right? See the picture and the structure here. We Chinese call it 空手套白狼, which means we're going to hunt the wolves with their hands. In 1995, Hui's first real estate project, 珠岛花园, Pearl Island Garden, was launched. He was very smart. He started renovating the surroundings before house building. Very soon, a beautiful landscape with trees, flowers, and pavilions emerged. No one has ever seen such a fabulous housing estate. He also offered prices lower than average. That was a huge success. The apartments to be built were all pre-sold nearly overnight. With the revenue of pre-sales and more bank loan coming, Hui hastened his next project. He made his own record in the construction history. 1 floor per day. The Pearl Island Garden generated revenue of 90 million RMB the year Hui started. In 1997, 2 years later, the profits already hit 500 million RMB. Interestingly, all this money had nothing to do with Hui himself, because the project was still under that unknown trade company Hui worked for. His salary was still 3,000 RMB back then, even though he contributed 500 million to the company. Unsurprisingly, Hui left this who-knows-what company and founded his own one, Evergrande. This time, he borrowed 400 million RMB from 5 different banks without any collaterals because of the successful case of Pearl Island Garden. The first masterpiece of Evergrande was Golden Jade Garden, which undoubtedly another success. From here, Evergrande began its legend. No matter how it became screwed up later on, back then it was real rockstar company because of its boldness and its passion. Business model was once visionary and worked very well. In 1990s, mainstream developers still aimed at first-tier, best locations to build up high-end real estate projects. Evergrande was still a little brother. It had neither the financial strength to acquire the land of best locations, nor a brand to sell or bid in urban area. However, the rapid expansion of Guangzhou has created strong market demand for mid to low-end real estate. Evergrande saw a quick win path here. Number one, focus on cheap land. Evergrande was a master of making value investment indeed. It was always hunting suburban areas, land with some historical problems, even halfway's land. It looked very good. Number two, high turnover. Evergrande cannot bear the cost of playing the game slowly. They went crazy with advertisement and always pursue quick sales. Fast construction, by the way, is the other precondition of such a business model. Number three, aim to mid to low level clients. Those suburban areas are not that convenient logistically, but the lower prices are really attractive to massive investors, especially young people. Step by step, Evergrande has formed its three high business model: high turnover, high gross profit, and high leverage. However, such model has an apparent issue. Just because of the lower prices, profit margins were also lower than average. So once the sales slower than expected, the whole capital chain could be destroyed. Evergrande was so lucky to ride the tide of house price soaring. Growth rate of suburban areas was even higher than that of urban ones, which leads to high profits of Evergrande. Now it's a real predator and a big guy in the industry. There we go. That was a wild age. No system, no regulation, nothing. The only thing you need to success was your braveness.